Okay. Okay, so we have Martina here, who has been super sound to do a video with me, and she's just going to first of all start saying like a sentence or two about yourself to begin with for people watching.
Hi everyone, my name is Martina. I'm 46 years of age. I've two girls, they're grown up, they're over 18 years of age. I work full-time in the public sector, and I'm a manager in it, so I'm very busy in work and I'm very busy at home as well.
Savage. Well, let's start off with kind of saying, like, because you're 3 months in now at the moment, so let's start with where you were beforehand. So you obviously got on a call with Ashley, so talk a little bit about, to me, what I suppose was the main challenges for you that kind of, I suppose, initiated you to get on a call with Ashley and seek some help.
Yeah, well, I suppose like that, I'm 46 and I've spent most of my life, like everyone else, on some sort of diets, trying to lose weight, put it back on. But then about 10 years ago, I took up running and absolutely loved it, and it was brilliant. And in 2017, then I took on Dublin City Marathon, which I completed, but I trained hard for that year. But I was sort of realising that the running was keeping everything else at bay, that I really had an extremely poor diet. I was running to burn off the calories I was eating. Would eat normally, everything was fine until about 4 o'clock in the evening, and as soon as I'd have my dinner, it was all out of control. I would have ran the marathon and ran it on an extreme, looking back now, on a really poor diet. Even though I was going to gyms, I was getting advice. But when I look back at it now, it wasn't good. Like, carb loading for running, to me now, has two completely different meanings. And my food basically my diet was just completely out of control. But I think when I finished, I ran the marathon, and I think after that, I just went on a downhill spiral because the structure, everything was gone. I'd nothing to focus on. And slowly but surely, the weight was creeping back on. And I wasn't doing long distances anymore because I was burnt out. And I just couldn't get my diet into control. I was after trying shake diets, keto diets. I was spending big money in a gym. Absolutely hated it. I was just fed up of people roaring and shouting at me. And I would go home in the evenings after all the hard work was done and binge eat for the evening, and the cycle would continue the next day. And I was just getting completely burnt out with myself and everything around me because of it.
And like, out of curiosity, like, because obviously then you got on a call with Ashley, but kind of what was the biggest impact that was having on you, that all of a sudden, like, I have to actually figure something out here and do something about it?
Well, I was afraid of getting diabetes, and because of my age as well. I was starting to think, like, what choice do I have here now? I had tried everything, but I said there has to be something. If you look closely enough, I just felt you will find something eventually that will work for you. And I just said, I couldn't figure out how I could be so active, love running and everything else, but could not get my diet under control. I was a ball of stress, full of anxiety. And as you know, Sarah, my sleep levels were terrible. Like, I was actually waking up thinking every day or every Monday, do I have to go into this cycle again for another week? Like, I just thought, for something so simple, why it was out of control for me. I had no control over what I was putting into my mouth in the evening, and I was running the next day to burn it off, beating myself up about it, and I was not in a good place. My anxiety levels were through the roof. It was affecting everything I did in work, and my relationships, everything. And I had just completed a degree as well, so I knew that there was opportunities going to come up in work for maybe to get a higher position. but I knew I had to do something about where I was also. And why I contacted Ashley was I had become aware of someone that had got excellent results from the program. I had watched the page, I'd say for about 7 months, but there's so much information out there on social media, everything. I was sitting there thinking, what is going to make this any different to anything else I've tried? And the fear of failure with me was huge. I said, how can I do this to myself? What if I fail? And when I got on the call to Ashley, I said it to him, I said, my fear of failure, what if I fail? And he said, you won't fail. And I came away thinking, he has no idea what my binging is like in the evening. And I haven't failed. I've done the opposite, Sarah, as you know. I'm actually shocked myself at how well I'm doing.
And same with because obviously you finished the marathon. I just want to ask, you finished the marathon, things were kind of going on a downward spiral then, and you were sitting on the fence for 7 months. How long was the downward spiral going for? How long were you dealing on that impact that was having on you?
Well, I suppose I ran the marathon in October 2017, and I'd say from maybe July, August 2018, the reality was starting to kick in. Just didn't want to be doing boot camp classes, jumping around the place. Didn't want to be doing long distances. I didn't have the time for it anymore, and I didn't want to do it. I had learned from the marathon, you can run 40 miles, but if your diet is not right, I didn't lose a pound running the marathon. I couldn't figure it out. But my diet was terrible because I was eating more. I was I said, well, I'm going to go out now today and run 15 miles so I can have 3 extra Mars bars in the evening. And that's the way my mind was working. But it was in fact dragging me down to somewhere that I don't want to go back to.
Well, then you obviously came on board about 3 months ago now. So just kind of describe a little bit and give us an overview of what's changed for you in those 3 months.
Well, Sarah, the first 2 weeks now, I have to say, it wasn't easy because I had an interview in the first 2 weeks of the program, so my stress levels were through the roof. I had the stress of the fear of failure. I had the stress of even new things, with technology, trying to get set up to go on the calls with you. And I was stressed to the last. But in saying that, after 3 days, just following the diet, I could see changes after 3 days. And I decided, when I made the call with Ashley, I decided to just go ahead and do it. And Ashley didn't give me time to think about it. And I'm forever grateful to him for that, because I think if he'd given me the time to think about it, the fear of failure would have got in on me and I would have said no. And I haven't looked back, Sarah. 3 days into that program, I could start feeling good in myself. I had the interview 2 weeks into the program. I felt quite good going into the interview. Mind was clearer. And when I walked out of that interview, that I got the job. And 2 weeks into that program, I have not looked back. Everything has fallen into place. The cycle that I was in of that binging in the evening I've never had it since the day I started the program. And I do not know the key to that, because that binge cycle for me was so strong in the evenings. I thought I was never going to overcome it. I'll never go back to it.
And it's saying, because obviously your nutrition has changed a lot. You were doing shakes and keto, which took away a lot of stuff that maybe you enjoyed. And you've changed around your nutrition around this time. Say apart from the food and the relationship with food now that you have, obviously you've managed your stress a hell of a lot better. In terms of your physique progress, and even cause you obviously come from doing just running, never really got into the weight training. Tell us a little bit more about the progress in both those areas, because that was obviously something very fearful for you, was the weight training.
Oh God, I will never forget the first day doing the weights, because I've seen it in the gym, and I did get programs in the gym before, but there was never any follow-up, and I was never really sure about what I was doing. And like after 2 weeks, I just give into it. It's easier to go into a gym and get on the treadmill or get on a bike and do that than go near weights, especially when you haven't a clue what you were doing. Now I've been told, I've heard, weights is brilliant and everything else, but when your diet is poor, there was just no point. I just didn't see any point. But I went in the first day anyway, but I had structure again put in place for me. So I knew what I had to do for the 3 days a week. And I was determined to just go in and try my best at it. Now, it was, if you'd been a fly on the wall, Sarah, it was good at times. But I was determined as well. I said, I'm doing this for me. I deserve it. I want to be strong and fit and healthy. Don't want to be feeling like the way I was before. So I'm going to give it 100% and try. And now it's a work in progress, the gym, but like towards what I was 12 weeks ago, it's just amazing. Like I'm actually now, as you know, up to the Olympic bar. I'm doing a little bit of deadlifts, and I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. But everything has changed, Sarah. My shoulders are smaller. My whole body, it just hasn't come off one place. I've lost inches everywhere, and like that much stronger now. I'm running once a week, really enjoying it. That's all nearly the cardio I do, and I love it.
And then say, like, looking back and like that short time frame for sort of fixing your relationship with food, the weight training, getting into that fine and actually consistently going for the past 12 weeks as well, your physique progress, and like you're now wearing fabulous outfits that you've sent me. Like, looking back all those things that you've achieved in that time frame, like how does that make you feel to see that change in such a short time?
Oh, it's amazing, Sarah. But one of the most important things as well was my sleep.
Yeah.
2 weeks into the program, I was a changed person. My sleep went from 4.5 hours every night to 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. And the diet definitely has a lot to do with that, but the morning routines and all that definitely has helped. And you know as well that I didn't want to do the morning routines. I seen it. I was like a child throwing the toys out of the pram. I was like, this is another job, too much to do. That has completely changed things for me as well. I actually now look forward to the morning routines, but that has helped my sleep. And I'm more clearer. Like I was going around with a brain, sort of like a fogginess in my mind. Like that's all gone. I can't, like the changes that has made for me in a very short period of time is huge. And what I found with age as well, I wasn't doing dieting very well. I couldn't be hungry, could not go hungry. And I'm not hungry on the program. So I'm not. But I don't have that feeling or wanting to binge in the evening either. So it's good all round.
And say, like, because you were sitting on the fence for like 7 months. So
yeah.
say someone maybe in your position that was sitting on the fence for 7 months or even longer, or maybe just came on board or look in the group now at the moment, for example, like what would you say to someone who is on the fence and thinking about it, him and Han about it? What would you say to them?
The best investment anyone can make is in themselves. Like we are the most important people. It's about looking after me, and for me to be able to function in work, do my job to the best of my ability, look after my family to the best of my ability, and for me, Sarah, to look good, feel good and be healthy. There's no sitting on the fence. It's not an option for people, especially not if they're in the cycle that I was in. I don't care. There's foods on the market that are addictive, and it's creating health problems. And I was just not going to get sucked into any of that anymore. I'd had enough of it. So there's no sitting on the fence, Sarah. Just go and do it.
Absolutely brilliant. All right, thanks a million for doing the video. Say bye.
No problem. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Sarah.